Hi, I'm Mary. I run this wacky little YouTube account called Tapeworm, where I post music edits, analog horror, kinda, video essays, and other stuff.
What the fuck, children? Where's my fucking memo?
Thing is, I make all my videos using real physical VHS tapes. Why? Because I'm a sucker for the aesthetic, and using all the free downloadable options just weren't for me. Long story short, I grew up in a lower middle class American family, surrounded by technology much older than me to compensate for the lack of money. I also grew up with basic cable television, and I'm talking before even DVRs were a common thing, so I naturally have a soft spot for early 2000s pre-centralized tech. With that being said, I always wanted to create my own analog series. When I was younger, around 11 or 12, I watched Along Came Josh's Herobrine sighting series, which I plan on making a video essay about in the future, which centered around the narrative of Herobrine being a sentient AI living inside the corrupted code of Minecraft. Some more recent analog-oriented examples would be Super Mario 64 Beta Archive and Greenio's Mario 64 Classified, both in which have the shared element of a rogue AI looming over development of the game. However, I wanted to create something that catered towards a very specific niche. 2000s nostalgia, namely cable TV, is a pretty untapped topic to give the analog horror treatment. That's another thing too. I didn't necessarily want to create quote-unquote analog horror. I wanted to create something a bit more atmospheric and liminal. This is going to be a weird comparison to make, but hear me out. These old cable UIs, especially the dead silent ones, held the same feeling or tension that the backrooms do. You can make horror out of liminality, but not all liminality is horror. Plus, you can't possibly tell me something like this is horror. Did I mention I'd use real VHS tapes? Y'all probably wondering how I pull everything off. Or maybe not. I don't know why you're this deep in the video then. Anyways, here's how I pull off the VHS effect. The first thing I should note is that this setup was not cheap. I bought a 9-inch CRT and a VCR specifically for this. I didn't have this stuff just lying around, believe it or not. Second thing to note is the hookups that connect everything, they're a mess. At least in execution. But when you break it down, it's pretty standard. I have an HDMI to AV converter connected to my PC, I have a signal splitter so I can, well, split the signal between both the VCR and the CRT, I have an AV to USB capture device to send the VCR signal back to my PC, and I use Bandicam to record the footage. What's basically happening is that my PC is sending the second monitor signal to both the CRT and my VCR, so I can just play whatever video file I want in full screen, get the native 4:3 resolution without tinkering too much, and record the contents onto a physical tape. Or if I'm making a CRT video like the Arthur Error or the Teleblue UI, I use a camcorder to record the CRT display and then just edit the raw video before the actual tape transfer. Now, I'm gonna admit something I feel really dirty admitting. I actually, more often than not, edit the tape audio in post, thus not making my content 100% hardware utilized. However, you must understand that the audio won't sound nearly as VHS-y or distorted as I really want it to be. Here's a comparison. I actually prefer doing the audio in post anyways, because then I can just add as much reverb as I want with the CRT videos. That way, the tape sound will echo and seem much roomier. After I get the audio done and tape the footage, I use Bandicam to transfer the tape back digitally, where I can just insert the audio, render the tape, and upload for you all to see. Quick note, and I do recommend doing this if you're going to attempt anything I just explained, use a countdown at the beginning and end of the tape, one with sound to be specific. I say this for the same reasons directors use clapperboards to sync up audio. Regardless of if you decide to go with the raw audio or you edit it in post, you're going to want something to sync up the audio in case of any complications. Say, while you're transferring the tape back to your PC. You never know if the audio will be synced during the physical transfer, although unlikely, but if you decide to go with the post-editing route, it'll make matching the audio with the video much easier. Another fun fact, and I avoided mentioning this at the beginning intentionally, is that I have a secret device stuffed in between the AV splitter and the VCR. This device is called a dirty video mixer. They also go by names like circuit bender, analog bender, a video glitch mixer. The bottom line is that you can use one to manipulate the signals that go through the VCR. If you have two video outputs connected, you can mix the signals to create a mishmash effect. I unfortunately don't have a second device, but even if you only have one connected, you can use the dial to either distort the signal or completely cut the signal on cue. If you really want one, you can easily find some on Etsy for really any price range. They're not expensive. So there you have it. It's not terribly impressive, but I thought you guys would be interested in taking a peek behind the curtain. Do you absolutely need this to make analog content? Absolutely not. This is entirely overkill. However, for someone like me who fixates on attention to detail, especially with older technology, this suits my every need. There's plenty of free software-based options, which I actually made a video about a year ago on. So definitely check them out if you don't have the funds nor energy to put together a Pee Wee Herman-esque contraption for analog content. Now to spill the secrets and blow the whistle on how the TeleBlue cable boxes work. You see, they've... Pee-Pee? Hi. Is this a blooper reel now?